Kim Bromer. How are you, my friend?
I'm excellent. I'm always good.
You are? Listen, I know you got one of the best attitudes around. I know you're out there helping people improve the way they look and the way they feel about themselves. You're a great coach, you're a great mentor, but better than that, you're a terrific friend. And for that, I thank you.
Thank you. Back to you.
All right.
Same,
Now, Kim,
same.
one of the most exciting things is developing and nurturing relationships in business. At the end of the day, I think you've often said it, it's hard to do business in isolation or it's difficult. What's the saying that you come up with there?
Um, in isolation, it's difficult, but with community, it becomes easier. But that's about it.
Okay. And you've got to have like the sum total of the five key people you know, love, and trust around you. That's kind of like who you become.
Yeah, and that's the thing to watch out for. I mean, it's if you took the five people that you hang around with, if you did the average income, that's about what you'd be stretched to be able to make. And the same with if everybody weighed themselves and your five people that you hang around with, you will actually become like the five people that you hang around with. So if you want to change, you need to maybe make some changes to the five people that you hang around with.
Yeah, I was taught at a very young age to try and find a millionaire, then take him out for lunch and pay for it. So you get to spend time with those people, even though it might be the last 30 or $60 that you might have. Maybe they get to know, love, and trust you, and then you can develop a friend. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's to buy them the biggest steak that they have to, spend a lot of time there so that you could be asking lots and lots of questions.
Yeah, and developing, why is it important, Kim? Why is it actually important to develop and nurture relationships in business? I know it's strongly recommended, but let's just cover a few points here today with everyone. And hopefully, over the next 15, 20 minutes, we can keep you intrigued. We're going to cover some stuff here. And I think trust, Kim, builds opportunity. There's no doubt about it. If you're working with people that you trust and they like you, that's a good opportunity for you.
Yep, and they'll open up doors for you. They'll create referrals, partnerships, long-term clients. Even for myself, I just got off a phone call with. I'm looking at an agent to be selling one of my properties, and they said, well, "How did you find out about us?" Well, I said, "Well, it was some friends of ours, and they actually." Oh, really? That's fantastic. I've known their father for this many years. So all of a sudden you have rapport, you got trust, and you're using that rapport and trust from the people that they know.
Yeah. And that leads into our second point that your reputation will grow through connections. I mean, again, if you've got a good reputation and someone refers you to that next person, that's a great organic way to build your business.
Oh, it's one of the key things. I mean, um, people do only work with people or only buy from people that they like and trust, and reputation. You're it real important that you become that person that if you make a commitment that you're going to be there on time. I've always worked it. I'm very lucky that I had my mother was always the person that said, if you're going to be here at this time, be 10 minutes early. And I think it was Vince Lombardo, one of the great coaches of the American football team. There used to be Lombardo time, and Lombardo time was 10 minutes before. So he always used to run his watch 10 minutes early so that he'd make sure that he was there on time.
Yeah, yeah, and that's I suppose you'll develop a strong reputation if you're always there on time and you value the people's time that you're actually working with as well, because no one likes to waste their time. And again, it's a good rapport to value someone else's time. You mightn't have anything to you can offer, but if you value who they are and value their time, bang, that's really, really important. And I think also collaboration beats competition as well. I mean, sometimes sharing opportunities with people where you can create that win-win helps develop and nurture strong business relationships.
Look, I've always worked with any sort of networking. the first thing that you want to be doing is just focusing on them. And you need to be asking, how can I help you? What are you doing at the moment that I can maybe look through my contacts and be able to help you, to the direct proportion that you're reaching out to try to help them. They will then come back and be helping you. It's sort of a tactic that I've always used, and it works.
Yeah. And I think the master of it, if you go back into How to Win Friends and Influence People or Think and Grow Rich, and I think it was Dale Carnegie with those business cards or those name cards. He just knew everyone. And that is that emotional intelligence where you actually genuinely care about someone to make note about their birthday, their wife, who their children, where their children are going to school or college or whatever, just so you can develop that rapport. And I think it's really important to understand that your name is always important to be remembered. Like if you meet someone and remember their name, rather than just, oh, there's that guy or there's that person, if you can actually remember who they are, that goes a long way in developing strong association in business.
Yeah, we all like our name being mentioned. When somebody in the conversation brings up your name two or three times, it always makes you feel good, and that's really important in building those relationships with people.
Yeah. And I think you've hit the nail on there. Business is about people. It's not about products. Obviously, products come and go, but people are always going to be constant. So have the good, right people around you. And again, you might have something for that individual, but if you've got a good rapport, good relationship with them, they may know someone that may add value to your project.
Yeah, and and to me, I'm always asking. I mean, I'm the work when I'm working with somebody, I'm actually telling them when I'm working with them, look, I'm not interested in selling you anything. I'm interested in you getting a result. I'm interested in you becoming successful. And if I can do that, guess what? You'll be actually telling your friends about me and my business will grow. So it's setting it up initially when you're first talking with them that they go, okay, when Kim helps me, I'm going to make sure that I'm looking after, him as well, and be able to give him some referrals.
Yeah, and I think you've just really touched on point one of, how to network and connect with new people is to be genuinely interested in them. But another point is to attend some events with purpose. I mean, I think if you choose conferences and you're going there to learn about something, you're going to meet the people that are perhaps doing something that you want to do better than you. So attending conferences is a great way to connect as well.
Look, it's if it's like-minded in the area that you're working with and that you have a real interest in, it can work even more. And to do that, don't do too much talking. Be a really good listener. Ask lots of good questions, and nod your head and lift your eyebrows, in the conversation so that you look like you're really interested. Everybody loves a puppy, so you've got to actually let allow that puppy inside of you to be excited about meeting the people, and in that atmosphere, in that area.
And I suppose also, Kim, the reality is if you're coming from a place of genuine authenticity, that you do actually care about the person. And by the way, this doesn't mean you have to be friends with everyone. There's some energy vampires out there you just don't want to be around. But you can select who the people that you want to be around, where you feel the energy is right. And again, be sincere, be open. And I think another way to connect with people is to follow up and to keep in touch.
Oh, yes. Look, just be courteous. Say thank you, and please in your conversation. People will feel that. People remember that, and those little things like after, look, it was really great meeting you. Looking forward to catching up with you for a coffee at our next event. All those little things builds relationship, builds people go, oh, I think I like this person. and especially if you're not always talking. I find that the biggest problem that a lot of us have when somebody in the conversation is, bringing up something like they went skiing, and all of a sudden you're not listening about them going skiing. You're thinking about how am I going to, when have I been skiing? Where can I up them without competition in the story? No, 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 no. You don't want to be doing that. We have a tendency to do that. We have a tendency to be thinking about how can I share a conversation that beats them. You need to be going, wow. And then what happened? Fantastic. How did you get involved with that? So be interested in them. Okay.
Yeah.
And look, magic things happen.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think, relationship momentum fades fast if you don't follow up with people as well. If you do remember someone's birthday, drop them a note, send them an old postcard, or send them a little email, say, happy birthday. I know it's a special day. Make sure you have a big smile on your face today. It's great to receive something for nothing from someone for nothing. And I think another one is, when you're trying to build relationships with people, is try and give before you get. You know what I mean? Just be there for them is what I'm trying to say. Rather than trying to get something from them, what can you offer?
Yeah. I like it sometimes when you've met somebody new and then other people are coming into the conversation that you introduce your new friend that you've only just met and go, look, this is my friend here, John, and we were just talking about, and then try to build them up, try to edify them, that makes them feel good and the new person coming into the conversation. So you're giving out, you're trying to build. You're not a person that's just a gossiper. You're only looking to build people, and you'll be known for that.
Yeah. I think, we can't have this conversation, Kim, if we don't talk about social media. You've got to engage strategically online. You can't ignore people. If someone likes what you're doing, you've got to follow it up with a comment. I think it's important these days. I know some, maybe old people don't really understand the value of social media, but today in the social media world, if you're doing something, just engage with people. And I think engage consistently is the message, I suppose.
Yeah, it's sort of like when sometimes if you post something and then you're looking at it and you're looking at how come all my friends are looking at this, but they don't like anything and they don't actually comment. That's how I feel. So the same is felt from those other people. So if you're wanting to build relationships with people, that's why you've got to be engaging. You've got to like, some of their posts. You've got to make a real comment and be complimentary. That's the word I'm looking for. To be complimentary to them, to give them a compliment. People love compliments as long as it's real.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, without an agenda, and if you get the rebound, fantastic, but do it coming from a place of authenticity that you genuinely like something, compliment that. Now, Kim, that's all positive, but there are some common relationship killers in business. Make no mistake about it. It's easy to, it's difficult to get a reputation that someone likes you, and it's so easy to lose it. You can lose it in a heartbeat. And let's just discuss some of this. Not that we're going to be negative, but in building your own business and trying to network and build relationships with people, just be wary of one of these things. And I think the first one is integrity. You've got to come from a place of pure sincerity, Kim.
Yeah. Look, over promising and under delivering just destroys all trust. It does it instantly. So, just be careful of those over promises. It's better to under promise and over deliver, do the complete opposite.
Yeah. Poor communication is another one. Someone's reaching out to you and you're going, and don't respond. That's a bad one as well.
Yeah.
Ignoring people.
Yeah. But, it's being unclear also creates frustration and distance with people. So it's important to be clear in your communication, clear of what you're your intentions are with people, if you want, willing and wanting to help them. Really important.
Only talking about yourself. I mean, there is a word for that. I hate the word, but you know the word. It's when everything revolves around you and you're the center of the universe, they're just don't be that person.
Yeah. So I used to call it be a court holder, sort of the guy standing in the lounge on his with his arm hanging there and all the little starving puppies, hanging around. Um, so you don't want to be a court holder. Really, what I found is that the most intelligent, the most successful, the most people that don't say very much at all. They're the listeners. They're sitting back and asking really good questions. And you want to be one of those type of people. You don't need to overvalue yourself, and be a good listener. And people will walk away going, "Wow, I really like that person," and they don't know why. I learned that from my early days. When I was 16, thinking to myself, I went to a dance and I thought, "Hang on a second, I'm going to go out and ask this girl to dance." And then in the break, if I started going on about, look, this is what I do, this is what this is what's happening with me, and but if you're talking about yourself, guess what? The girl goes away. But if you start asking questions, really getting interested in them, they'll walk away going, "Oh, I like this young man," and they know nothing about you. So it's called the boy girl theory. So be careful. Don't over don't you don't have to tell people about you. You will be you. People will find out about you because of what you stand for.
Yeah, yeah. So your reputation precedes you, and that's really important to have because at the end of the day, that's all you've got, and you really just don't want to connect with people, Kim. This is a real big killer. Only when you need something. If you only want something from someone and that's the only time that you ring them, they'll be wary of that real fast.
Yeah. I have a few of those people, and I know them straight away. As soon as they ring, I go, "Oh, okay, what do they want?" And because it becomes a habit, and it's just, and in the end, you work out a way so that you can either avoid them or how you can answer them. That if they're asking you for something, that you already answer it without being too nasty, but say, "Look, thank you very much, but at this point in time, it doesn't fit my schedule. But if things change, I'll let you know."
Yeah. I think the other one is also that we can all get better at this, and some people really are very good at it. And I think it's a great message that, gossiping and small talk and talking about other people, even though you're not in their company, but you may be speaking to someone about someone else. Wow, that sends a message to the universe as well. So you really don't want to engage in small talk, and you certainly don't want to engage in gossip. I think that's really important.
Yeah, because it builds. Look, if you start gossiping about somebody else, that person then thinks, "Oh my God, is this person going to be telling about me something to somebody else?" And they'll become more guarded. So, it's if somebody starts talking or gossiping, really you should say, "Hey, listen, no, I don't want to listen to gossip." It's ask them some questions. How do you know that's true? Where did you hear it from? And look, I'm not into gossip. And that just tells the person, "Hey, if I'm going to build a relationship with this person, they're never going to be sharing anything, to anybody else about me."
Yeah, one of the other ones that I've grown up with and I've learned from this is sarcasm goes nowhere as well. You don't want to be sarcastic. I think it's the weakest form of humor to be sarcastic with someone about anything. I mean, there's no point in belittling someone for the sake of it, just to pump yourself up, to make yourself feel good. So let's get rid of the old sarcasm as well. I think that's a bad way to communicate, develop friends, and it shows a major lack of professionalism, that's for sure. Kim, we've covered a lot. We're developing and nurturing relationships in business is really important. Great episode, my friend.
Yeah, look, I really enjoyed it. And for all of those people out there, if you liked what you heard, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you let us know to be on, if you want to be on our mailing list. We're going to be starting a brand new newsletter that's coming out shortly. And hey, if you've got a friend out there that you want to share a little bit about what you can be doing, like today, building a relationship, you could be sharing that out to some of the people that you'd like for them to hear the same sort of story that you've just heard.
Look forward to catching up with you again real soon, Kim.